Have you ever wondered what an HVAC contactor does? What is the purpose? And so, an HVAC contactor for the condenser outside, there are other uses as well as the condenser outside, say primarily the condenser outside that runs your air conditioner. When the high voltage feeds in, it feeds in on say 240, 220, whatever, and on a normally a 30 amp number 10 wire. So the the high voltage, actually one leg comes here, one leg comes here. So just for illustrative purposes, we will call this L1, L2. So when L1, L2 comes in, if one puts the voltmeter here, if one puts a meter here to ground, they should pick up about 120 plus or minus. One here to ground, 120 plus or minus, and between the two, somewhere in the range of 240, um, somewhere thereabouts, to plus or minus, not an exact, but anyway, the it should bring the high voltage in. So the purpose of this contactor, or I shouldn't say the purpose, but one use of this contactor is to take this high voltage here, and if we test the voltage on this terminal and this terminal, T1 and T2, we should have nothing. So we should have 0 volts here. We should have voltage here coming from the quick disconnect or coming from the breaker box. So if we take one here, one terminal here to ground, we should have 0, one terminal here to ground, cross them over. Now, on the side here, as one would note, you see these prongs here in this coil. These are for your low voltage. So the low voltage wire would feed here and here. Once the low voltage energizes this contactor, it could even have perhaps a low grade buzzing sound, bzz, but when it does, this contact should come in. It should pull it in and create maybe a magnetic field. When it does, this 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 leg and this leg is energized. So now this voltage from L1 L2 goes to T1 T2, jumpers it off. Once you go to L1 L2 T1 T2, then at that point you have enough voltage to power up the compressor and the condenser fan motor. So once it's satisfied, say the thermostat in the house satisfies whatever temperature in the house, and it goes off, and the relay in the thermostat, we'll say hypothetically a relay, kicks off and opens or whatever, then it de-energizes this comes back up, then you don't have voltage here. But so when the low voltage here energizes this, it pulls the contactor in, and then the voltage jumps here. So then one could hook the common and the common to one side, the run to the other side. Once you hook the common to the run, then one could run the run one terminal here. As one may note on here, you may note other prongs that give you places to plug into this particular contactor. So once it's plugged in, then one could take and jumper this from this side to the common, from the run side to the common on the capacitor. And once all this takes place, then your motor and your compressor and your condenser fan motor should operate. So again, this is a contactor. So an analogous situation, one could just think of this as in a different light. This fiction, not fact, but sort of like a dam. This holds the electricity back to this side. But once the water crests over the dam, what creates this is, say hypothetically, this is pulled in, then the water creates, so hypothetically, but we're talking electricity, not water. But one could just sometimes you have to have little memory tools to remember the functionality of particular things. But again, just L1, L2, T1, T2, 240 volts. And so the 240 and the contactor will convey the energy, the electricity from this side to this side. Once the low voltage is hooked up here, it pulls the coil in, pulls the plunger in, the contacts meet, and it's that simple. So then if all things are equal and working properly, your compressor and your condenser fan motor should operate. An HVAC contactor for the condenser. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.